Everyone, it's Pup Twigs here in Orlando, Florida, and joining me today as my guest is Pup Blitzkrieg from Norman, Oklahoma. How are you?
Hey everyone, how are you, puppy?
Doing really good here.
Excellent.
So I like to get in and find out a little bit of history behind my guest. In really the first question, I want to find out about your name, how you came up with the name, and also if there's any kind of symbolism around the colors that you picked for your hood.
Okay. Well, let's start with the name. I was actually named by a domain of a friend of mine, and she named me a little over 6 years ago. And I've been in the puppy community for a very long time. And at the time that I met her, and when I actually was named and Blitzkrieg was named, I had just come out of a very bad drug addiction. And I was at the point of just stepping away from the community, just totally, because I was a puppy before Blitzkrieg was born,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of bad connotation with the puppy that I was. So I euthanized that puppy and went through a lot of kind of self-doubt, and do I really want to be a part of this and whatnot. And she convinced me to be in the community. And I've always liked German things.
Hmm.
I've had German cars. I've had a lot of German products. I always thought that, I worked for a German software company at the time, so it was kind of like, ingrained a little bit, I think you could say. So she decided that, a German name would be good for me, and she came up with Blitzkrieg because prior to getting clean and before Blitzkrieg was born, man, I was a pushover. I let people walk all over me. I didn't stand up for myself, and I just stick the head in the sand when it came to problems. And so she said, that's how you should address life. You should not let your problems get out of control. You should surround them like the old lightning war used to be in World War II, and surround and conquer. So and it's a kind of a name that has some strength behind it. So,
Hmm.
and I really liked it. So I've kept it. And it's been controversial too, because having a name like that, I get a lot of real interesting comments. And you'll see in my socials that some social media platforms don't like that name. That's why my Facebook name is what it is because it's a forbidden name on Facebook. So it's been an interesting ride. But that's how I came up with it. And as far as the colors go, uh, you know, I really didn't know much about flagging whenever I picked my colors. And so I'd always had an attraction to red things.
Hmm.
I'd always had red cars. I like the color red. And, when I grew up in the business community, the symbol of red was strength and power. I didn't
Yep.
know that was flagging things at the time. So I chose red for that reason, especially as Blitzkrieg was born. He wanted to be a powerful puppy. So red to me indicated that. The black here is an indication to old leather, just the black color of leather.
Hmm.
And the white to me was purity because Blitzkrieg was born at a time when I was really trying to change my life around. So came up with these three colors and integrated them together, and there we are.
Well, I know we're glad you're doing better now, so that's
Oh,
awesome
thank you.
and everything.
Yeah, thank you.
So you mentioned you had been a pup for a long time now.
Yep.
So being in the community for a period of time, what have you found has been the easiest for you in the pup community, and then what's been more difficult?
Let's start with the most difficult first. You can tell by the wrinkles, I'm not a young pupper, and
Neither am I.
I'm not. And the community is really stereotypically is a young puppy community, and I'm not a young puppy. So sometimes being a gray muzzle and being an elder puppy and trying to navigate in a younger puppy's kink or fetish or a younger person's kink or fetish can be a little bit interesting, and trying to find your way and trying to fit in. I'm just really young at heart, so I think it's worked out for me. But sometimes that's been a little bit a little bit difficult. And for some of the other older puppies, they tend to struggle too, I think, because, everybody wants a young pup. The guys my age want a younger pup, stereotypically. And so they can struggle a little bit. And I think some of the expectations that are put around them can be a little bit interesting. I found that being an older puppy, some things are stereotypically, and I use that term a lot because I just see that are expected of you. Like a boy grows up to be a sir, right? So a puppy grows up to be an alpha, or a puppy grows up to be a handler, or something like that. And that's not always the case.
Right.
And so I tend to find that, for me, sometimes I think that those expectations are put on me and others that are my age. So that's kind of been the hardest thing for me. The easiest thing is, well, man, really, it's been, being a part of the community and helping develop the community in the area that I live in. I'm an outgoing person. I tend to get along with everybody, and so the easiest thing for me has been trying to, and successfully building a community and bringing other puppies in, and introducing them into the community, and watching them start off and you know, learn their personality and learn who they are. And
Hmm.
it's not only been the easiest thing, but it's also been one of the most satisfying things is watching somebody who comes into the community scared. They think about everything and they just kind of squat and piddle on the floor, right? And then when they
Yeah.
actually learn about themselves and learn about the history and the community, and it starts to become an empowering thing. That's been a wonderful thing for me.
Good. Well, you mentioned a handler. Do you have a handler, or have you thought about possibly being a handler at some time?
I tend to switch back and forth. I don't have a handler because I pity the fool. I just do. I think it would be a challenge for them. I'm just very headstrong, so I think it would be a difficult thing for anyone to be my handler. But I tend to switch back and forth in the role between a puppy and a handler. Yep.
Okay. Well, what about our community? If you had the ability to go out and change something about it,
Mhm.
what do you think you'd want to change?
Man, the labels, and the divisiveness that seems to be there.
Okay.
It's really ironic that, and I've noticed this more as I get older, puppy. I mean, it's you see that everyone clamors for acceptance,
Hmm.
and everyone wants to be who they are, but sometimes it's at the expense of others. And the community, since I've grown up in it, I've tended to notice becomes a lot more divided versus not really growing together. And I think that's really sad. And given the things that are going on in the world, and where the world's headed, just in general, it'd
Yeah.
be nice if we could band together and actually work together to improve what the community is and the perception of what that community is, and protect that community versus ripping it out from within. And I just see a lot of that, and it's terribly unfortunate. So I would just encourage people to uh, take the labels and set them aside. We're
Hmm.
we're all puppies. So we're all in this for the same thing. We're all in it and trying to get hopefully the same thing out of it, and put the labels aside, and just try to get along, as a famous politician once said.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yep.
So, what kind of advice would you give someone that's brand new to the community wanting to get into it?
The time that you spend investing in yourself is completely worth it. You cannot put a price on that.
Yeah.
I think that people come in, and there are people out there, and you may have seen this as well. There are people out there who will take advantage of your naivete and your inexperience and you not knowing what you want. And people get hurt and people get burned, and people leave the community because of that. So the amount of time that you can spend sitting down and learning about yourself and what your wants are and what your needs are, and those are two very different things.
Hmm.
And understanding where you can compromise on things and where you aren't willing to compromise on things, learning how to stand up for yourself, learning how to protect yourself in the community, learning how to ask questions. learning the value of consent, those types of things that you can do at the get-go and invest that amount of time just starting out will pay off in the end, and it will protect you, and it will help you have a much more positive experience when you're looking for an alpha, or if you're looking for a community or looking for a pack or anything like that. Whenever I get a new puppy into the community, those are the three things, or one of those are the things that I try to get a puppy to do, and I do it with journaling. So I think there's a lot of power in journaling.
Oh,
So
yeah.
write that down. Sometimes people ask themselves these questions, and seeing it in print, and instead of up here, but actually seeing it in print
Mhm.
can be a very powerful thing. So
Agreed.
that time and investment is invaluable to me.
Okay. So this is more on kind of a serious note, but I know a lot of people use this as an escape and to put the adult on a shelf for a while and be able just to get in your headspace.
Yep.
But what has this done for your mental wellness, being able to get out of that human headspace and into a pup headspace?
Well, for me, when I originally got clean, it was to help me with my sobriety, and that's the very first thing that it brought to me. Excuse me. I was struggling really really bad with trying to quit. I was on some very hard drugs, and it was very very difficult for me to get out of my head. So the hood has allowed me, and did allow me at the time, to really just to shut all that off. It's like when I put this on, the world just went away,
Yeah,
and I was able to relax, and I was able to be calm, and I was able to get out of that human type of thing, a human type of headspace, and just be something that lived in the moment, and something that was able to get away from all those stresses of life, like you said. So for me, initially, that's what it provided, and as I've progressed in that, in my sobriety over these last 6 years, it's been kind of a change to dealing with life stresses, because I have a pretty stressful job, and
yeah.
it's nice to just put the hood on and give the world the finger, and get pets and scritches, and or give them, in my case, to some other puppies.
Well, I know you're traveling right now, so do you always take your hood with you everywhere you go?
I absolutely do.
I'm with you. I do the same thing.
Yep, I do.
So tell me about what kind of pup events you have going on in your Norman, Oklahoma area.
So, I am part of, and I have, let me back up a little bit. I have co-founded and I co-admin one of the puppy groups that's in the area. Red Dirt Dog Park is the name of the group, and we're actually a really active group. We do, I would say 3 events a month minimum,
Oh,
usually
nice.
more. So we've got a mosh coming up in December. We've got on Black Friday, we're going to all get together and go look at like Christmas lights and everything in the city. Um, we have, gosh, we've got like some movie nights coming up. We tend to do a lot of those types of things. We have a fundraiser getting ready to come up that we're doing in combination with the Imperial Court of Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
And we're actually planning a puppy event in Oklahoma City in the May timeframe. So stay tuned, because
All
there's going to
right.
be some more information about that.
Yeah.
So always a lot going on. Yeah.
Well, good. And it's always to see and get to talk to somebody that has a very active pup community where they're from. So,
And the thing about that puppy is, I've noticed that in a lot of puppy communities and a lot of puppy groups, that their events tend to center around a bar.
yes.
And one of the things I would advise anybody watching this that maybe is either looking to start a group or that has a group out there, is to look at other things beside that.
Hmm.
Because you tend to have, what are you going to do for the people who are under 21? What are you going to do for the people who don't like to go to a bar, or who don't like the bar culture, or who are in recovery, or, those types of things? You want to include them. And we do plan a lot of events where we're able to do that, and we head up and do them. And we've never really had any issue or any problem with the events that we've gone to, or the venues that we've gone to where we do that. And we always check in beforehand. We tell the venue, hey, we're going to show up, and this is what we do. Are you okay with that? And they're all like, oh yeah, it's cool, come on, come on. And you wouldn't think that in Oklahoma, of all places, the reddest of the red.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we don't have any trouble.
yeah.
And
I hear
it's
you.
wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful.
And that's me because yeah, we always have puppy nights 2 nights a week, but they're always in bars. So
Mhm.
one of my friends, we decided to try something, and we have a puppy that works at a movie theater.
Mhm.
And so we said, hey, check with your boss. Let's see if we can get a theater and go watch a movie and be able to do it in our pup gear.
Yep.
And they've agreed to do it. So our first one is going to be the end of November. We're all going to see Wicked
Oh man, that's awesome.
and everything. And so we're going to do the best we can. We've already sold 40 tickets. So it's going to be, I mean, at least
Oh
40
wow.
showing up
Nice, nice,
and
nice,
everything. So we're all excited about that because we're going to do something different other than a bar.
nice. Yeah, we've done like I don't know if you have a Top Golf or an equivalent of Top Golf there,
Uh-huh.
where a multi-story driving range. We've done that many times, all hooded. They love us there. We've gone bowling, we've gone to mini golf, we've gone go-kart racing, we've done all kinds of stuff. And it's always a lot of fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this question I like for season two, and it's if you could go out and sit down, meet, and talk to anybody in this world, past or present,
Mhm.
who would you want to sit down and talk with?
I think it's hard to narrow that down to just one person.
And I'll
Um,
take several if you have them.
uh, yeah, okay. So, given the spirit of when this is actually being recorded, I'd like to sit down with the founding fathers,
Okay.
and ask them and be like a fly on the room to some of the discussions that they had, because there's so much of an interpretation, and I'm not trying to turn this political, but there's so much of an interpretation of what was meant by this and what were
Yeah.
they thinking when they said that, and we get tripped up on some terms once, or every now and then on amendments or what the law was intended to mean or something like that. I'd love to sit there and listen to what the actual discussions were, and versus how, and then you kind of think of like, this is kind of how it is today. I think that would be real interesting. Um, this will be a weird answer too, but man, I'd like to sit down and talk to Jesus,
Oh, okay.
because that has been one of the most influential people in the world.
Mhm.
That has him and some other religious figures in the past, like Muhammad and some of these others, have really influenced the world. And I think it would be interesting, not in the afterlife, but when they were here,
Yeah.
to sit down and talk to them and listen to what they had to say. Because again, these are people that their words get twisted and their words get used, and caused a lot of world strife. And I think it would be interesting to hear what they actually meant.
Awesome. Well, I love that and everything. Well, I know you sent me already all of your socials, but I want to give you a chance to share them here as well. Uh,
Sure.
someone wanted to reach out to you. How would they get in touch with you?
So generally speaking, on most of the social media platforms, I am Pup Blitzkrieg, just all one word. The only one that's different than that is going to be Facebook. And I'm sure you'll show that because I couldn't spell it even if I tried. But it's spelled Pepper Wagons Krieg, to get around the Facebook Blitzkrieg limitation.
Yeah.
But I'm generally on Telegram there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on PupSpace. And I think I sent you the Twitter/X for our puppy group, because that's where we tend to communicate through. So
Okay.
just hit me up. Happy to talk to anyone and share stories or anything else.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to sit here and talk with you for a little bit. Any last words you have for us before we get off of here?
Uh, not so much. I thank you so much for having me on to do this, and for those watching, we had a couple of false starts, and we worked through that, and happy to finally do that. It's good to see somebody doing something like this. I'm very honored to have done this and been asked to do this, and keep up the good work, puppy.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I know this won't be the last time we talk.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.